Hey Bryce. Hey Henry. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Doing
doing
well.
good.
So we're here today to talk about Turnkey, DIMO, Account Abstraction, and the future of Web3. Let's maybe start with some intros. Bryce, do you want to give us an introduction?
Perfect. My name's Bryce. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Turnkey, which is secure, flexible, and scalable wallet infrastructure. We have been working really closely with the DIMO team as they have moved to global accounts and work with a lot of other folks in the industry, everyone from Alchemy to Dynamic to Infinex to Moonshot to Bridge and more, powering really unique crypto experiences behind the scenes with pretty hefty infrastructure, which we'll dig into more. But super excited to be here, and I'll pass the baton over to Henry.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryce. Hey, guys. I'm Henry. I'm on the product team here at DIMO. We are focused on helping bring the connected vehicle industry on chain by putting the car owner in control of their data and who can access it. So one of the things I'm focused on with Yev and the DIMO team is making car ownership an experience that's smarter, better, easier, and just more seamless. Um, and enabling car owners to plug into the connected vehicle industry while delivering a best in class user experience. And so, a big part of that is also creating a seamless developer experience for the auto industry enterprises that are building on top of DIMO. Those are kind of two of the big things that we're really focused on delivering at DIMO. I will kick it over to you, Yev, to close up.
Yeah. So my name is Yevgeny, and I'm one of the co-founders at DIMO. Before this, I spent a decade in automotive, starting with the early days of sending SMS commands to vehicles, all the way through ride-hailing fleets in Austin and Miami with Ford Nargo AI, and then finally decided to build a user-focused, user-centric, developer-centric transportation ecosystem. Let's dive into some questions. Bryce, my understanding is you've been in Web3 for a while as well. What are the biggest things that, drove you guys to start creating Turnkey, and what kind of problems really does it solve that EOAs, had before?
So, my co-founder Jack and I actually met building Coinbase custody from the ground up. We really saw the early days of crypto security and how folks were using that infrastructure across the board. Um, I think one of the interesting insights there was every key management provider up until now had really focused on a tightly scoped product for a single use case. And that led to problems where it was hard for those platforms to adapt over time to the changes in crypto. We had at Coinbase really tight integrations for a specific asset, really tight integrations for a specific action. And so, as new assets, new actions, new things were coming on board, you couldn't use Coinbase custody for them. With Turnkey, what we wanted to do was just create a very, very low level infrastructure focused approach to this, and give people a broad toolkit that would allow them to build whatever they wanted, even as crypto evolved. So it's primitives that are much more asset agnostic, that allow for arbitrary signing across blockchains, and that allow for a lot of customization around access controls, policies, all the things that you need behind the scenes. Um, I think this has been cool to see play out because with those low level tools, we see a ton of different use cases. It's everything from connected cars to meme coin trading to, um, NFT platforms. And we have also built it in a very scalable way. So crypto has changed a lot in the last, call it 3 years, as L2s have come around, as gas has gotten cheaper. And now it's not just doing a transaction every couple days. People are doing thousands of transactions a second and need to have a system that is scalable in that way.
Bryce, so just a follow-up question on that. So my understanding is, security is of topmost concern, especially with wallets. How does Turnkey differ from some of these other MPC solutions that exist out there?
Yeah. This is something that we thought long and hard about. And we considered a lot of different approaches to this, but wanted to build something pretty unique here that was going to be able to balance um, really top notch security with super high throughput, super low latency experiences. So everything on Turnkey is based on secure enclaves. There has definitely been a lot of crypto Twitter chatter about TEEs, trusted execution environments. Those terms are pretty interchangeable. Um, and what it really means is it is kind of a black box in the cloud that has a lot of guarantees around how code is running within that. We have a lot of tooling around how code is deployed into those. We've created even a custom operating system there. Um, and it gives us this balance of every single sensitive thing that could ever touch private keys is happening from within this highly constrained environment. But we get super low latency. It's 50 to 100 milliseconds to sign a transaction. We can do 2,000 transactions per second, whereas a lot of the legacy platforms, they're capping out at like 5 transactions per second. The security is not as holistic across all of these different aspects. Latency is like 10 plus seconds to sign a transaction, which just does not work for consumer apps.
It definitely doesn't. I mean, that was actually one of the biggest decision points for us to want to use Turnkey for the backing wallet. A lot of the existing MP solutions are, I would say, on the slower side, not to say anything bad about them, but also in terms of security, most of the time, all the three key shares are held just by one provider who's not really using, advanced controls, did not come from the Coinbase custody background, and you're at the end of the day just relying on the team as opposed to good process and verifiable security that you can actually scale to millions of users and deliver that you know millisecond experience that people have come to expect in web 2 that we have yet to really see at scale in web 3 from most projects.
Yeah, there's a joke in the security world of everyone thinks that hackers behind the scenes are going to be doing some crazy complex technical thing to get access to funds. And often all they need is a rubber hose and the right person, and they beat them up and get access to the sensitive materials, and then they're good to go. And so that was one of the things that we thought a lot about with Turnkey as well, is there's no single point of failure across our system. No single person could ever touch client funds or make changes to our systems. And so it just gives a lot of peace of mind that those client funds are safe.
Definitely. And Henry, to jumping over to you for just a moment. So this is now, we've now deployed a solution into product into prod with 100,000 users here. Tell us a little bit about how that went and maybe some improvements that we've seen.
Yeah, great question. I think the security is kind of the non-starter, right? Like we need to have security, and I think you guys did a great job kind of talking through that. At the same time, we're building a consumer product, and we're building an experience that we want to be accessible to any car owner, not just crypto native folks that happen to have cars. And so, really, a part of this launch for us was focused on how can we make that possible? And I think one of the big unlocks there, like you guys mentioned, was speed and being like near real time. That's kind of the Web 2 expectation for your average user. And the other thing is just familiar kind of tools and methods. And so in the same way that the user doesn't care whether you're hosting on Amazon, like AWS East or West, whatever, the user doesn't really care a lot of what's going on in terms of the security. They need to know it's secure, but like those details don't matter to them. What matters is I can log in using methods that are easy to use, no clunky wallet apps. And so one of the big unlocks for us with the consumer experience was basically, today's world with EOAs, you need to have, a MetaMask, a Rainbow, some third-party wallet app just to get onboarded, just to get connected. But now with our new wallet system built on top of Turnkey, we have this whole new system where you're using familiar login methods, you're using passkeys and email, which is kind of cutting edge, best user experience. And we've seen some pretty amazing results since we've launched. Our login time using traditional EOA wallets was about 2 minutes to kind of open the DIMO app, click into your wallet, connect, sign, get back into the app, and then go and learn more about your vehicle or do whatever you're doing. Now you literally just open the app, you show your Face ID, and you're in there doing whatever it is that you want to do. And so that really, to me, is the crux of what we wanted to unlock. That 10x improvement there in terms of login user experience. That's really the big unlock for users on a day-to-day basis.
That
Yeah,
definitely is. Seeing a chart of login time go from 2 minutes to
yeah.
10 seconds is feels pretty good.
Yeah, that was
But
amazing. And yeah, at the same time, I think that's one side of the coin. The other is the developer experience. Yev, I think it would be great if you could talk to
Mhm.
us a little bit about what that looks like, and how the global accounts have really unlocked this sort of developer experience for auto industry players building on top of DIMO.
Definitely. So I'll dive into the technology a little bit and then talk about the auto side of it. But for us, we combine Turnkey with Zero Dev, which is an open source account abstraction provider, and that handles the smart contract for the account as well as, the paymaster so that users don't have to worry about gas and having to fund their external wallet after their 2-minute onboarding. And the results speak for themselves, down to a 10-minute login, and it now takes maybe less than, an hour for any of the new demo features to be released to production and available as a new transaction type. But coming back to the automotive side, auto is a very old industry, just like finance. So a lot of the same problems that people have been claiming about finance apply here, in the sense of there's so many players, they're embedded, there's a lot of old ways of thinking, and it's very hard to change this industry from the way it's been operating for almost 100 years. And we've taken on probably one of the hardest challenges, which is we've combined the Web3 and the auto, and with the goal of actually fixing kind of both and enabling both to operate seamlessly together. And what Henry was just describing is the experience in the Demo mobile application, but this experience is also now available to any other developer on Demo. So if you use our Login with Demo SDK, you can basically drop it on any page in just a few minutes and have somebody connect a car, mint the smart contract for it on the blockchain, and be able to start using third-party applications, which is something that's not possible even in Web 2 today. If and you know what really makes me excited about it is this ability to allow developers who are in transportation, who don't even know anything about Web3, to have an experience that they've been looking for years in Web 2, and we're enabling it in a way that no one's really ever seen and may not even understand yet. But for the first time, I was actually able to take my Tesla and connect it to a third-party app and get carbon credits for charging at home, which is something that I don't think anyone's done before. And what I'm really hoping is we're going to enable even more applications to come around in that, say, futuristic world people have been hoping for since, kind of using the Apple example of, I don't have to know anything about cars, I don't have to know anything about crypto, but here's an app I built in just 2 days that allows me to solve a real problem that an average person has, not just, trading a coin or staking yield, but, my car broke. I'm trying to take care of my battery. I want to rent out my car. I want to sell my car for more money, all the way through more futuristic use cases, which are also going to be based on global accounts and hopefully Turnkey as well, around having the car have its own identity as we start having these self-driving cars on the road and having them act like the first generation of real AI, real world robots that are operating today. Bryce, jumping back to you for just a moment here, in terms of things for others that want to get started with using Turnkey, can you tell me a little bit more about what the best way to get started is?
Yeah. So I think Turnkey, because it is so low level, it can be used for a lot of different things. We're talking a lot about this embedded wallet use case of providing non-custodial wallets for end users with really easy authentication methods. But we also see folks use us for all sorts of transaction automation, for crypto businesses or broader businesses that want to use crypto for payments, treasury operations, different smart contract actions, so on and so forth. We have really heavy documentation that goes into a ton of detail here, but also a lot of examples to get you started more quickly. So can take those off the shelf, plug them into your stack, and then get started with either of those use cases. We also love to jam on new use cases. I think one of the cool things about Turnkey is the low level primitives can be used in new and unique ways. So a perfect example of this is Moonshot got in touch with us a while back and they said, hey, we want to do send crypto with a link. And we jumped on a quick call, talked about it. 24 hours later, they had launched it with our existing primitives. And so if there are ever creative ideas that folks have on how they want to build new experiences in crypto and they're not really sure how they might be able to do it with wallets underneath the hood, we're down to jam on that all the time. There's a form on our website that you can always submit that to.
That sounds great. And it's always good to ask the simple questions that people have. In terms of, what happens if I lose my keys? What if I lose access to my car or my wallet? How does Turnkey solve this problem in a way that account abstraction by itself doesn't?
Mm. Yeah, so Turnkey, one of the really useful things about it is you can attach many different types of familiar authentication methods to a single underlying wallet. So that could be passkeys and biometrics, or it could be things like email, OAuth, so social logins like Google, Apple, Facebook, or even SMS. Um, we often see people combine these in different ways to have backup authentication methods for folks. So if you have your biometrics from your iPhone and it's not synced to iCloud appropriately, well, you can use your email as a backup authentication method and always regain access to that. This is a really great balance of keeping the user in control of their crypto wallet while still maintaining that familiar usability. You should always be able to go and recover your account. You shouldn't have to touch a seed phrase. You shouldn't even have to know what a seed phrase is. And so I think that's we've been trying to mirror that Web 2 experience for folks and give them the tools to create that with Turnkey.
Some Henry sorry, Bryce, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to dig a little bit deeper into the implementation that you guys had on Turnkey in particular. I think it was super magical for me the first time that I signed on because it's one of those things where you're like, my parents could use this, or my grandparents could even use this, and especially when you're talking about a product geared towards car drivers, which is a lot of people in the world,
Mhm.
you need something that easy. So one of the things that I thought was great is account abstraction has obviously been taking off, but still early days. You guys are pretty early adopters there. Would love to hear your thoughts on why you chose to go down that direction and then
Mhm.
broader how you guys thought about the architecture of this.
Mhm. So, that's a big question. So I mean, we've been looking at account abstraction ever since the first day was announced. I'm always a believer in having code as opposed to static key material. So the first time I saw that, representing what a user has as an account as opposed to just a private key was going to be the future because that's how most things in Web 2 work today, right? In my AT&T account, I don't just have my login, I have a login to an account. So creating this abstraction finally allows more complex use cases, right? And the first one is allowing, multiple keys to be recovery, for example, for an account, but also, maybe I share my car with my wife or my friend, right? And being able to have multiple people share the same account and being able to have one person who's an owner, one person who's a driver. Um, and as we're going through this, through the research on it, there's definitely a few different account abstraction providers that are ERC 4337 compatible. We personally spoke with, Alchemy and Zero Dev and Pimlico. We ended up going with Zero Dev because we found that their plugin architecture was going to be the easiest for us to support. And we've always looked at, the consumer side as just the first starting point. Uh, at the end of the day, largest car fleets are, companies with tens of thousands of vehicles. And being able to use a smart account to represent, a delivery company with 10,000 trucks, where now I can actually have proper permissions for the driver to go and unlock that vehicle while still having the ability for the fleet owner to see where the vehicles are, right? And as we move into this more dynamic world where people are bringing their personal vehicles to drive for Uber, it really enables this kind of privacy preserving while still functional experience where I can have somebody who can see the location of my car but not unlock it. I can have somebody who I share a key with for a predefined time. And looking into the future of self-driving vehicles, being able to have a ride be booked and accepted by a self-driving car that has its own account, and then have it say, you know what, I'm going to give a key to this one user for the duration of this drive, who can unlock it and get in, and then when it gets out, when you get to your destination, the key is removed. Um, that being said, I encourage everybody to do their own research because Alchemy has also done a great job with the plugin architecture, as well as every single day there's a new wallet, a new ERC 4337 provider that uh, is probably a good option to look at. And looking into other small decisions we made, we wanted to make sure that the very let's say critical transactions like moving DIMO or any kind of ERC20 required a passkey, which is something that Turnkey allows you to configure, while simpler things like maybe just logging in to see the data will only require email OTP, right? And we're now looking at SMS as another backup method to be added to the smart account for the user, which I think is finally going to create an experience that really just looks like Web 2, which is what most people, if we want to reach the mass adoption, need it to look like, right? And I I shouldn't have to worry what the technology underneath looks like in order to use a product.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Yeah. Henry, what are some other nice things that you've seen with the move to account abstraction in terms of like gas and sponsoring
Yeah.
payments?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was another point that, it seems like a little bit of a trivial thing, this gas sponsorship, relative to all the stuff we were discussing with permissions and privileges, login methods. But when you think about the onboarding experience into a Web3 application in the EOA world, it's really a bit of a pain. Not only do you have to like go download the wallet app as its own app, and then go create your DIMO account or whatever account you're using. You also have to fund the account in order to sign any transaction or to do anything on chain. You need to be paying for that transaction, and so to do that with an EOA, you have to then go find an exchange, go onto Coinbase, create a Coinbase account, deposit your money into there, swap that into some token, get that token into your wallet. And then usually if you're a first time user, you realize that not only do you need the DIMO token, but you also need the native gas token. So, we're on Polygon, so you need the Polygon token in order to then pay for a transaction. And so this whole process can end up being like 20 30 minutes or longer, and with gas sponsorship, you can just make that all go away. The user doesn't have to worry about having any native tokens to be paying gas. They just need to be logged in, have their account, and then they can take whatever actions they want on chain, and then it's up to us, DIMO in this case, to determine what we want to sponsor and how we want to set up those policies around what we're willing to pay for, set any limits that we might want. And it's totally flexible for us. And we can decide to set limits so that we'll sponsor, a certain amount of transactions per day or per week. And we can even configure it so that we charge, a fee in DIMO tokens rather than the native gas token. And all of this just makes the experience for the user a lot more seamless and more intuitive. So yeah, I would say that's been another thing that really just kind of removes friction and hurdles, both to get started with DIMO as well as kind of just to continue using DIMO. And yeah, doing things on chain without really understanding or needing to understand what's going on behind the scenes to make that all possible. So that's definitely been a big one.
I'm kind of curious, what use cases are you guys most excited about with global accounts that you're seeing?
I would say,
Go ahead, Henry. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say, I think one of the things that's most exciting about global accounts is it really opens up this ecosystem element. The DIMO mobile app, it can exist with EOAs. You can log in, you can use the EOA, And embedded wallets, can also do that. But what Turnkey and this global account system really enable is this sort of open ecosystem where you have one account, where you sign in with one set of passkeys or email, and you can tap into all of these apps built on top of the DIMO ecosystem and platform. So to me, I think that's one of the things that I'm most excited about zooming out a little bit over the next year and couple of years, is bringing more and more applications online on top of DIMO. And we're already, as Yev mentioned earlier, we're already starting to see this happen at like a very rapid pace. And yeah, the time to get spun up and building on top of DIMO is just going down from weeks and sort of days to like hours. And I think that just makes it so more accessible to developers, and then in the long run creates a much more engaging and sort of complete seamless experience for the car owner, which is really the goal at the end of the day. Yeah, if anything you want to add there.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I briefly mentioned Royal, which was the first partner to launch on the global accounts feature, and I believe almost 5,000 drivers have already signed up to get charging credits. We're launching another partner who is allowing you to purchase battery warranty, and doing this all with basically 3 clicks of a button. Uh, but what I'm obviously most excited about is what's still yet to come. We have a 5,000 car fleet from Hertz that is looking to onboard to DIMO, and that's going to be very fun to play around with all those use cases around key sharing and key management. We're in conversations with most of the major OEMs to bring this to their existing 10 million car fleets. But also, I'm excited about enabling the little developer. So we had somebody who actually works in finance start building an app for vehicle maintenance. He just went through our docs and used the SDK, and within a couple of days had an entire vehicle maintenance application built up. Uh, so,
That's
so
amazing.
some is what for me, it's either the largest enterprise or the smallest dev that just couldn't build an app otherwise. Um, And, looking into the future, I'm excited as we start bringing more device types as well. So, motorcycles are going to be exciting. I can't wait to have a wallet with all of my things on wheels, and maybe even boats or planes. Always like to joke that Demo's product strategy is the inverse of planes, trains, automobiles. But but you know, getting into dynamic charging is going to be very exciting, right? And getting into use cases around ride hail is going to be, I think, also very exciting. Uh, One thing I also wanted to call out, so all of the Demo Global account system is open source on GitHub, and you can look at the demo docs. And Bryce, my understanding is you guys actually just released a white paper about your technology stack in preparation for some open source work that you're going to be doing as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, was a big Monday for us. So we did it a little bit opposite from how people usually do it, where we built the product first and did the white paper second. But it really outlined some of the challenges that we saw previously in key management, the infrastructure that we've built, which is this verifiable key management built on secure enclaves that I've mentioned, and then also the future of Turnkey and where we're headed with this platform. Um, as part of Turnkey's product, we have a custom operating system that we just open sourced last week, and we're in the process of open sourcing the rest of our stack. So these other enclave applications that are really critical in our key management product. What this gets us is the ability for developers to independently verify that the turnkey software is running as expected and hasn't been tampered with. This sounds fairly simple, but tons of complexity behind the scenes to make that happen. And this is really going to be the first time that this is done at the scale that we're at. And it's just kind of a new paradigm in security for folks, and just very aligned with crypto more broadly. I think where this gets even more interesting is a ton of our customers have been saying, we love what you've done with this verifiable compute platform. How do we deploy something on it? And so over the next couple of quarters, we're planning to open that platform up, have our first external partners who are deploying onto our verifiable compute platform. And we're hearing a whole bunch of different use cases, whether that's verifiable AI agents or verifiable off-chain order books or verifiable cosigners, all sorts of different things where the need for transparency, trust, and security is just really, really high in the crypto ecosystem.
Mhm. As one of the partners that's unofficially signed up to, I'll use that as well. I'm personally very excited. We have another project in the pipeline to enable anyone to create a data stream for any IoT asset. We're calling it Open Connections, and we're hoping to leverage the turnkey verifiable compute for that as well, in order to allow anyone to create a data feed essentially that can be verified to say, to first answer some basic questions like where is this car, but also in the future answer more complicated ones like did this accident really happen? Did this ride really complete? And who really saw this happen, right? And how do you prove that something happened in the physical world? So
Yeah,
excited to work with you guys on that.
no, very pumped as well. It's always one of those things where when we were designing the product, we never thought that it was going to be used for car accident data streams, but awesome to see the variety of use cases that are possible there.
It's um it's coming up rather soon. One project I didn't mention, but what turns out one of our initial thoughts with DIMO was turns out a public blockchain is a great DMV, and no one likes the existing DMV as well. So we're actually working with a DMV in the United States to enable users to share parts of their driving data
Mm,
for basically road repairs. Historically, the roads were repaired via gas tax, which no longer exists for electric vehicles. And depending on the kind of American you are, you either don't trust the government or you don't trust the company. So the drivers in the state are looking for a way to verifiably share that they drove, this many miles per year within the state without having to actually say where exactly they went.
mm.
That's another use case for verifiable compute that people don't often think about, but is quite critical as we move into this new world of more efficient electrified transportation.
Super cool. Yeah, I love that.
Definitely, definitely. Um, Bryce, is there anything else you wanted to call out about Turnkey?
I think that covered it broadly. Like I said, we're always working with new builders in the space. So if you're building something exciting in crypto, come to turnkey.com, shoot me a DM on Twitter, and would love to work together.
And from the demo
Awesome.
side, if you're looking to build something in transportation, uh, come check out our documentation, try our login with Demo SDK and our data SDK, and start building transportation apps.
Love it. Thanks, y'all.
Awesome.
This was
Thank you
Thank you
great.
guys.
guys. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.